Have any reason to divorce, you just throw the irretrievable
breakdown.
Yeah, it's irretrievably broken down.
We have tried to
And
agree on the mundane issues and we can't agree.
Yeah.
This contribution is not just
money. It could be just staying at
monetary.
home and cooking.
It could be that as the man was going to work,
I
was taking care of the children.
Yeah. The other party to go and remarry if they can.
Yeah, because the way you can't marry
again and marry, like you can marry twice
legally.
Polygamy.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to the Sisters-in-Law podcast. My name is Beverly Mokaya and I'm here with
Aquila Mokaya. In this podcast, we discuss matters law.
I'm talking about matters family law, employment law, contract law, tax law matters. We've got you covered.
Remember to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment down below.
So on today's episode, we're going to talk about divorce. Divorce is something that affects thousands of families in Kenya. Thousands is even an understatement.
Yeah.
Because nowadays people get married and get divorced just as soon as or as quickly as they get married. Divorce rates are so high. And I guess maybe someone would want to ask, what are the grounds that allow for someone to divorce? Of course, not that we're advocating for it, but this matters law.
You need to know.
And yeah, you need to know. We have to talk about them because they're happening. And it's just good to make you aware of the process, the grounds that are there, and what implications are there. For example, like things like child custody and maintenance of spouse.
Also matrimonial property.
And matrimonial property, exactly. And by the way, just a funny thing, maintenance of spousal maintenance can also include men.
Oh,
like men can also,
I saw the other day.
Can also ask for spousal maintenance. But anyway, yeah, that's where we are right now as the world.
Yeah.
Anyway, so divorce doesn't need any definition.
Yeah, it's just like separating, but legally separating.
Yeah, breaking up legally.
Yeah.
On
because
paper.
You came together on paper.
Yeah.
So now you have to break so that now you can allow the other party to go and remarry if they can.
Yeah, because the way you can't marry
again and marry, like you can marry twice
legally.
Polygamy.
Yeah. Like you can't be in two monogamous marriages like on paper in Kenya.
Because that's actually an offense called bigamy.
Yes. Yeah, true.
It's actually punishable under law. So even as we go into this episode, we'd want to converse on the reasons why you would want to, not even the reasons,
the grounds that are allowed.
The ones that that you can bring before court.
Because when you go to court, you have to have grounds.
You can't just
there's a recent judgment that you were talking about just right now, whereby you can't come together and say that we have mutually consented
to break up. Okay, to divorce.
Yeah, it's not one of the grounds of divorce.
Yeah.
Our system in Kenya has to be fault based.
Yeah.
Like there has to be fault in the marriage or on your partner for you to separate legally and go for a divorce.
Yeah.
So some of the grounds that are allowed, of course, adultery.
Yeah, cruelty.
And remember, this is court, so there has to be evidence. You have to have photos, screenshots, and whatever you have to adduce.
Maybe CCTV footage.
Yeah. So adultery is one of them. Number two,
we could have cruelty.
So what falls under cruelty?
We said emotional abuse, physical abuse,
actually emotional abuse.
Yeah.
Actually a doctor can treat physical pain, but you can't treat emotional pain unless you know. Yeah. So emotional abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, in the sense that maybe being denied intimacy for us. How would you prove that?
I don't know how you'd prove that, but I want to imagine maybe just sexual abuse in the sense of not rape per se, because that's a dicey topic, but those other offenses that fall under rape.
Yeah.
Like maybe use of objects and things
and
like
you don't agree or something like that.
Yeah, let's not go into that.
Yeah. So that's what part of what cruelty would entail. Something else that you can have is
desertion.
Desertion, that's an interesting one, by the way.
So if you guys have not been living together for a period of time, then this marriage is not working.
So for example, you've been married for 5 years, and let's say 3 out of those years the man has deserted you. No calls, no texts, yani haja kuona ama the woman, you know, because anyone can file for divorce. That's a ground for divorce. Of course, with evidence again. And then the other one is irretrievable breakdown. So like you just say that there is no way
we can continue being together. Or maybe you guys have just not sort of therapy session, but you have just not worked on the relationship because the relationship is cultivated.
And so maybe you can just show, say,
it's not working out.
It's not working out. Maybe you can show that you went for couples therapy and things like that, or you've been judicially separated for 3 years. So like for desertion is 2 years, but separation, you can say like we've been separated for 3 years, trying to work out our issues on our own, but we've come back together and still this can't work out. So irretrievable breakdown could also be one of the grounds for divorce. So just remember, let's say for example, the reason why we're saying you should have evidence, if there's physical abuse, go and make a report
and get a P3,
get an OB form or an OB number or things like that. So that these are things that you can adduce in court as evidence, because you just can't say someone beat you up and there's no like because
utapona or something. By the time you go to court or by the time it gets to hearing or something like that, you won't have any proof that you are being beaten or something like that.
And by the way, one of the other things that fall under cruelty is denial of basic needs. Let's say, for example, the woman is not working or someone is not working, and they expected you to provide, but you don't provide anything. You leave, and they can show that you're literally and neglect is another one. You've neglected them for a very long time. That's also something that they can prove under cruelty for them to come under. Under cruelty as a ground for divorce.
I'm actually thinking about it right now. Like, what else would, if, for example, I'd want to divorce from the person I'm with, and we have separated, I have gone and gotten married. You have not maybe remarried or something like that. But I've not gotten married legally because I can't. But maybe I have like a come with something. Now I want to move it into a higher.
You want to register it as
I want to register it as now a monogamous legal marriage. Do you think I could still come under cruelty or separation or desertion?
So, for example, if it didn't work out between us and I decided to have another family, I think irretrievable breakdown would work. And also cruelty in a way. All these things, sometimes they crisscross, like they overlap. But if you can put either one or all of them. You could
because I was speaking with some other colleague of ours who was saying that if you do not have any reason to divorce, you just throw the irretrievable breakdown. It's irretrievably broken down.
We have tried to agree on the mundane issues and we can't agree.
I know. So now when you go to court, that means if I am the party, let's say I'm the wife and I have a husband, so I go to court, I file a petition first.
And it's filed in the High Court.
So I file a petition before court, stating all the grounds and whatnot. We expect the husband to respond or defend himself or something like that. If he has something to say, like, oh, maybe it was not adultery or something like that, as long as he has something. So like just like the normal matters, would expect a defense. But if there's no defense, then the matter can still proceed and it goes undefended.
So ideally, if let's say, for example, I file my petition papers and the husband, based on the grounds that I have raised on the petition, he can agree to sign the papers. That's why usually here sign the divorce papers and things like that. So he can agree if you don't want to go through those long court battles and whatever, because it can take up to 6 months, by the way, for you to get a decree.
Absolute,
and then absolute is like a final one, because they like to do that because you might change your mind in between. Like they give you a judgment now and so then they give you a few months to think. And then if you still want it, then they enforce it and put it as a decree absolute. So now, what was I saying? I've lost my train of thoughts. So now I've remembered. So now, like, let's say, for example, I bring the papers. This guy can agree to sign if he doesn't want to go through the long court battles. The other option is to respond and say that I don't agree to these grounds and things like that. And because we know things like the people would want to The reason why people would not want to sign papers is because, let's say, property is involved. Because, and we'll talk about this, because there's a way that you guys have to share the matrimonial property if you did not sign a prenup or something like that. So now, what would happen is, if this guy is opposed to, let's say, signing the papers, it will still proceed as a normal court matter. Court case, and the judge will determine the divorce based on the evidence that is before him. So people don't have to agree to divorce. It's not the end if your partner refuses to sign the papers.
You can go to court and have a judgment saying that you guys have ended the marriage, and now you can remarry, because if you have gone through divorce and you want to remarry, you have to attach that decree to show that actually you went, because they would not know that at the marriage registry that you were divorced. So you have to attach it. Yes.
So the other option is, like, if you sign the papers, you'll just go straight and record the judgment, and that's it. If he doesn't sign, the judge will determine based on the evidence that is there, and he can actually either grant it or not grant it. So that's why I was saying it's important, go and get that OB and all those things that are necessary as evidence to put it there.
But I'm just wondering, why would they force you to be remain in the union that you don't want to remain in?
It's because
that's a moral question.
It's not. I don't think it's necessarily an entirely moral question. It's because there's always bigger stakes involved. Property. Some people might just want to go for a divorce because they want the property. So that's why they have to prove the fault. It has to be a genuine thing, and not that it's like a money-making scheme or something. I got married to you, and then all of a sudden I want to divorce
because I know,
because I want the money,
matrimonial property.
And nowadays it's crazy because contribution, and we'll talk about that. Contribution
is another episode for matrimonial property.
But we can still touch on it here, kidogo. It's not really. It would be good to touch on it on this episode. So the reason why you would find the judge has to come in is because they have to determine, is this a genuine thing? Do you really want to divorce because this thing is not working, or because you want someone's property, something that they have sweated for?
Because also, as long as you guys were married and you made wealth during the marriage, then it is matrimonial property and is subject to division by the court.
Exactly. And now we can actually talk about it, because how this works is that it is determined based on contribution. Now the funny part is, contribution is not just
money. It could be just staying at home and cooking.
It could be that as the man was going to work, I was taking care of the children. I made sure that they went to school, so he had less to do in his hands, so that he could go and make money for the family. And then we bought this land, so I want my 50%.
Yep.
It's crazy how, let's say, they wouldn't be able to monetize the contribution, but how is it called? Non-monetary contribution is also contribution.
Yes, because if you had 4 children and you have to go to work,
it's work.
You'd have to dress them up, drop them in school,
that is
and then go to work.
Exactly.
So this is also some work you're doing at home, whether it's the man or the woman.
Because now you see, if you had to do all that, you wouldn't have enough time to make money. So ideally, I have contributed to your peace of mind for you to make that money, and so I deserve a share in it.
I have a huge stake in it.
So you'd find that these things are very dicey when it goes to like trying to divide matrimonial property, because for as long as that property was acquired during the subsistence of your marriage by any of you, it forms part of the matrimonial property, and it will be subject to division upon divorce. And that's why I think most people, what most people do is that they go for separation
first.
They say, because we both want to keep the property, let's just do like a judicial separation. We are not living together. You go have your family, let me go have my family.
But it's just
so
like
that our
mutual arrangement remains with us. Because other times now you'd actually have to like maybe sell the home or something. Oh, sorry, we are going into matrimonial property,
but it's okay anyway.
So you maybe have to sell your house, then
and
you
get
share
proceeds
the proceeds
and things like that.
There's this other matter where I was handling, and they had to like sell till the sofa sets, their
because people can be petty when they hurt them.
So now you have to share, and you're not reselling at the original price that you got them. So ideally you're going at a loss. So you see, that's why people would prefer,
you can come together and say, instead of both of us going, getting a loss, let's just keep the property. You take this, you take this, or let's
this one, and then
so that And then, of course, the other thing that comes with divorce is custody, like custody of the children.
Yeah.
And of course, the judge will also, the magistrate the judge will determine who takes custody of the children. Mostly people prefer joint custody because it's important that both parents participate in the lives of their children. But of course, if you can prove things like this man is abusive or this woman is abusive or if you neglect the children, you can keep the children, you know.
But give them visiting rights.
Visiting rights, yeah. Some people deny each other visiting rights.
But now the court gives visiting rights compulsorily, regardless, unless there's like threat to life of the children or something like that. And that is the end of our episode.
Yeah, very short and
I hope you have learned.
And very dicey.
Yeah, I hope you have learned.
Because like we said, mutual consent is not allowed.
So you can't agree
there has to
break up. You must have a problem. Like there must be an issue.
Maybe throw in irretrievable.
Yeah, just bring in irretrievable breakdown as we said earlier.
Yeah, and make sure you know that non-monetary contribution is still contribution. Yeah, so with that, we are done, and I'm sure you have learned. It's good to be aware of these things. So thank you for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, comment down below, and see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Oh, bye.